So, procrastination for a lot of people is a vicious cycle of just a misunderstanding, right? Because a lot of us don't really know the true essence of like why we procrastinate. We just know that like I procrastinate, right? Like I have a cycle of procrastinating. I don't do things that I want to do when I want to do them. I procrastinate, right? What a lot of us don't know is that procrastination is actually a stress response, right? So when you are stressed out, procrastination is kind of like a way out of that stress. So let's dig into procrastination, what it's about, and how we can kind of like stop the cycle. Like I said, procrastination is involving a stressor. It is trying to relieve you from that stressor. You are basically trying to relieve yourself from whatever you are stressed about. So essentially, I think a lot of us just kind of identify with being a procrastinator, which is the number one thing that we have to stop doing. Do not call yourself a procrastinator. You are not a procrastinator. It is a habit. Procrastination is a habit, a bad habit. So you have had in the past a habit of procrastinating. That is the first thing that we need to start realizing when we're talking about procrastination, right? So I am not a procrastinator. I am just a person who has had a habit of procrastinating in the past, right? So we have to create a new habit. And the first thing you really want to do when you are trying to break the cycle of procrastination is you want to forgive yourself for continually letting yourself down, right? You want to forgive yourself for continually procrastinating. And you want to realize, like I said, that this is not something that you do because you hate yourself. This is not something that you do because you're a bad person. It's something that you do because you're trying to self soothe. It's something that you do subconsciously to alleviate stress, if that makes sense. So, first things first, forgive yourself. I forgive myself for not sticking to what I said I wanted to do, not showing up for myself. I forgive myself for breaking promises and trust in the past. And moving forward, I want to do better, right? First step, forgive yourself. Second step, you need to identify what am I stressed out about. For me personally, I figured out that like there's one thing that I'm continually like stressed out about. I mean, like there's other things, but there's this one thing that I always find myself like, okay, this is when I notice that I procrastinate the most. Like when I'm feeling this thing, this is when I notice that I procrastinate the most. So you need to figure out and identify what it is that you are struggling with to make you go into procrastination mode, right? What is it that I continually see? Like, what pattern is it that I continually see within myself that I'm going through whenever I'm procrastinating? What is it that's stressing me out that's making me procrastinate, right? Because once you start to identify what it is that's making you procrastinate, then you can be like, okay, you can notice it when it's happening and you can be like, okay, let's break the cycle right now, right? So you need to identify what it is that you are struggling and stressing about. The majority of the time, the things that we're stressed out about are just repeating, right? So we're just repeating the cycle of I'm stressed out, therefore I need to self soothe, therefore I procrastinate, right? It's not the procrastination that's just in itself, right? It's a deeper issue as to why you are continuing to procrastinate. Journaling will help you get the answer to the question of what you are stressing out about. Because for me, it was kind of like I didn't really know right away what it was that was causing me to always procrastinate until I realized, like, okay, there's a pattern that, like, whenever I feel like this or whenever this is going on, I start to procrastinate. So yeah, journaling can help you figure out that answer if you're having some trouble figuring out why, what the stressor is, or if there's a many different stressors. You can use journaling to figure that out each time that you're procrastinating. For me, I needed to do it once because it's one thing that continually makes me procrastinate. But like you can some people have like every time they're stressed out about something different, they're procrastinating, right? So you can use this every time you see yourself procrastinating and you're like, okay, I need to figure out what I am stressed about underneath the surface. The next thing you want to do is start taking action, right? So you want to ask yourself, what do I need to be doing right now to make a change for my future self, right? Because a lot of stuff that we do right now today is for the future, right? For the betterment of ourself in the future. So like, what would myself in the future, 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 4 years from now, whatever you want to, whatever works for you, what would I be wanting myself to do right now for the girl in the future? What action can I take instead of procrastinating, right? Because in order to break a bad old habit, you have to start creating new habits. So basically, you're going to be creating a new habit by doing something and taking the action. So you're going to create taking action over procrastination, right? So if you're the type of person that when you get tired, when you don't feel good, when your body does not feel good, you feel the need to procrastinate, right? Because you don't feel good in your mind, in your subconscious mind, you need to rest if you don't feel good, right? This is something that I dealt with, right? So if you're that type of person, you need to make a switch in your brain that says, okay, I need to rest it's okay to rest, but it is not okay to over rest. It is not okay to procrastinate and forget about everything that I needed to get done just because I didn't feel good or because I was tired, right? I still need to get things done. Even if you do just a little, you need to start practicing taking action and doing things instead of procrastinating, right? So even if you're just planning something out, if that's all you can muster up, that needs to be something that you need to be doing right in that moment. And that actually leads me to the next point, which is 5 second rule, right? I'm sure you've heard of the 5 second rule. I forget her name, but she talks about the 5 second rule all the time, right? And she actually really helped me through the procrastination stuff. I need to remember her freaking name. I listen to so many motivational speakers, I don't remember their names. But 5 second rule basically says that, okay, when I start thinking about something, within 5 seconds of me thinking about doing it, I need to get up and do it. Because in that 5 seconds, I am that 5 seconds can basically make or break if I'm going to lay here and procrastinate or if I'm going to actually get up and do it, right? So getting up and actually doing something, even if it's something small, and just do it for a few minutes, right? And like even with the procrastination thing, when you start taking action, right? Give yourself 3 days. 3 days, right? Just commit to something for 3 days. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna make this plan and I'm gonna do this thing for the next 3 days. Just 3 days, right? And if you need to take a break in between the 3 days, that's fine. But you're starting to change the way that you do things. You're starting to change the habit and you're taking action, right? So you're practicing taking action. We need to be practicing taking action. We need to not be identifying with being a procrastinator. We need to be actively just trying to do the opposite of what we want to do in the moments that we find ourselves procrastinating for way too long. I have a little homework for you after this video. Once you do all the steps that we just talked about, I want you to ask yourself, where am I going to be? Where will I be in 10 years, 5 years, whatever works for you, if I continue to procrastinate the way that I do right now today? And I really want you to think about it and I want you to feel how you would feel in that moment. I want you to feel how the people around you will be affected. Like, say, for example, if you have a kid that you want to set a good example for or be a role model for, how is that going to affect that kid in 10 years? Right? Is that kid going to have to fight the battles that you didn't fight? Is that kid going to have to break cycles that you didn't break? Right? I want you to really think about that. And moving forward, I want you to start really taking action over procrastination, right? Because we want to be doing stuff that we need to be doing to get where we're trying to get, right? We want to be living our best lives. We want to be becoming our best selves, and we want to be on our highest soul path. And procrastination is just not gonna get us there. Okay, so do that homework. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will definitely be seeing you in my next video.